Perfect. Okay, do you see my screen in there?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. Cool. Very good. All right. Well, good afternoon. Good afternoon. And again, thank you so much for joining. My name is Annabelle Pacheco. I'm a real estate investor and a broker, and I've been in business for 24 years. My goal is to share with you each week in detail the steps that I took to purchase my first multifamily deal in hopes that you'll also be able to do the same. And I really want you to know that I'm not selling anything, I'm not offering anything, and I am definitely not a financial advisor. I'm just sharing my story with everyone in hopes that, we can use this platform to share information with each other and learn from each other. So this is open. I don't want you to be shy. I want you to just come on, ask questions, because I think that we both learn when there's interaction. So a little about myself. I started in the mortgage industry back in the mid-90s. I purchased over 100 properties throughout my career, which I rehabbed, flipped, kept some of those. We leased them out, managed them, and just very much involved in and even in developing. So in 2001, deviated a little bit, built 150 capacity restaurant from ground up. We had a staff of about 15 people, including managers, chefs, and servers. And in the last 10 years, I have focused my business in representing clients in both residential and commercial real estate. Now, I purchased my first multifamily property in Texas in 2015. That was 34 doors. Now, I was looking for a way to create cash flow and generational wealth. And I thought to myself, well, how can we make our money work for us? And here are the reasons why I invested in multifamily property. And I hope that you guys can also do the same. So really the first, very important, one of the things that I was looking for was cash flow. Okay, how am I going to make my money, right, work for me? And cash flow was the way to do it. Very simple. Cash flow is your rental income minus all of your expenses. That's what you're making on a monthly basis. Number two, it was the opportunity of having your tenants pay off your loan. That was huge. Number three, it was appreciation, right? Here I'm buying a property that I know over the long run, it's going to appreciate. Now, tax benefits was something that, again, we took into consideration, and two of them that were really important were depreciation and the 1031 exchange. So depreciation allows you to expense a portion of that physical structure each year from your taxes, and the 1031 exchange allows you to defer the capital gain taxes. And there's no limit to this. So you can do a 1031 exchange as many times as you want. So a little example on the property that I purchased. We purchased what we call a value add multifamily. When I purchased this property, I was clear. I had a really clear vision, and my goal was very clear as to what it was that I was looking for. We were looking for cash flow. We were okay to park our money there for a few years, and we were looking for the opportunity to add value, right, to that property. So when I went out and purchased the apartments, it really had all those things that I had that goal. Like I knew what I was looking for. And I had studied the market, right? I knew kind of the location. I knew where I wanted to go. So I guess today's lesson is really knowing exactly what you're looking for will make the process and you finding that property that you want much easier. So just a little example on mine. We purchased this property for $850,000. This was 34 doors. And the seller had agreed to finance this deal basically. So he carried a note, a 2-year note for the remaining balance. We gave him a $350,000 down payment, and then we paid him a note. We had a note. He was our lender on a $500,000 balance. We paid him that for 2 years. We made monthly payments to them for 2 years. This allowed us to remodel and update the units and increase the rent. Now, after the second year, we were able to refinance, and then the property at that time appraised at $1.6 million. So we were able to get a loan for $1 million. I got back pretty much my initial down payment and the investment that I had done for repairs of the property. Today, I have zero invested in this property. And today's value, we're looking at about $2.7 million. So it's almost 4 times the appreciation there has gone up 4 times. So here's a picture of what the property looks like. There's 2 buildings. This building has 24 units, all 1 bedroom, 1 bath. And then we have this building, which is 10 units, and these are 2 stories, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, or 1.5 bath. So today I prepared, I think it's really important that we clearly define your goal and what it is you are looking for in multifamily or any investment that you're going to make. And thinking back when I purchased mine, I really focused. I mean, it took me 5 years to actually purchase my property, but I had focused. I knew I wanted multifamily. I knew I was looking for cash flow. I was okay with holding on to it for a while. I wasn't looking to flip. There's so many things that you have to look at in order to be able to really pull the trigger. And until you clearly define what it is that you're looking for, it's going to be really hard to find that, whatever it is, investment, single family home, or even multifamily property. You really have to have a clear goal. And I wrote down a couple of questions that you need to ask yourself, and you might want to write these down. Number 1 is, what do you want to do? Do you really want to invest in multifamily? Do you want to manage? Do you want to be involved in it? Do you want to, do you maybe want to partner up with someone, let someone run with it, and you kind of be behind the scenes? Very important to figure out. Ask yourself that question. Second is, what's the outcome that you want? Okay, very important. These, if you don't have answers to these questions, it's going to be really hard to find a property out there. Do you want a yield? Do you want monthly cash flow? Are you looking for appreciation? Are you looking long term? So just in these here, I can share with you guys my personal story. And I was looking for cash flow. I was looking for appreciation. I was okay with long term. I wanted the opportunity. I mean, obviously with appreciation and cash flow and property being like my property being where it's at today, it puts me in a position where I have equity there that I can tap into. I can refinance, cash out. I may not be able to cash out the full amount, but I can cash out keep my property and buy something else, something small, because I wouldn't have a whole lot of money, or I can sell and 1031 exchange all of that capital gain into a new property. So it's just, again, what, my goals and what I do are for me. You guys need to figure out what works best for you. So are you fine with investing your money and leaving it there for 10 to 15 years, right? Are we looking long term? Like, okay, you've got a couple $100,000, you're going to invest and you're going to leave it there and you don't care about it for 10, 15 years. Obviously you manage it throughout those years and you figure ways of how to improve it, right? Or how you can increase your rents, but are you okay leaving it there for a long time? Or are you really looking for short term? Like, do you have 3 to 5 years? Because I will tell you, in multifamily, you can find some short term opportunities, which are between 3 and 5 years. And number 9, you really, really have to be clear about what it is that you want. Okay? Do you want cash flow? Are you looking for just appreciation? Or are you looking for like just a safe place, to park your money and, some growth over time? I mean, I think in these questions, if we go back, everyone's going to have a different answer to these questions. That's why multifamily, it will be very different for everyone. Number 10, what's your current lifestyle look like? Right? Do you want to invest in a property that's going to give you the opportunity to continue the lifestyle that you currently have? And your first initial investment may not be able to do that. You may have to, work with time and use that appreciation to scale, or just scaling with other investors, like joining other groups, right? Because you may not have enough money to go out there and just go buy yourself a 100 units or even 30 units. Are you married? Are you single? This investment for a married individual and for a single individual will be completely different, right? The single will have probably a higher risk, higher tolerance for risk. A married person may not. If they're married, I'm sure, do they have kids? You have to be really careful. Are you retiring? If you're retiring, okay, you have, X amount of money that you're going to be getting. You no longer can really take those big risks, right? What are the things that you want to do in the next 12, 24, or even 36 months? So I'm going to stop here just for a second, because I know this is a lot, and ask you guys, where are you at in this process? If you're considering multifamily, have you guys really sat down to write down what it is that you're looking for? Anybody? Anybody looking to share where they're at in this process? Or what do you think of these, what do you think of these questions that you should be asking yourself to be able to define your goal? Okay.
No, I think that it makes me think more in defining by writing down, because I never looked at it in that perspective, in that way, in terms of looking at of long-term versus short-term. I mean, I did to some extent, but not fully grasp it and look at, the depreciation. I looked getting some property, holding on some, but also getting some cash out, but not look at it as what the options are. If you understand what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. And I think that You know, it sounds so pretty, right? To say that I own multifamily or I've invested in multifamily, but we really have to have a really clear, defined plan of what it is we're looking for. And it'll make it a lot easier for you to actually find that. Um, and honestly, I think that, and I'm only speaking from my own personal experience, and that's what I'm sharing. And this call is really about just my personal experience and what I've learned through this process. You know, when I finally made a decision to purchase multifamily, everything that I did for a few years always went back to just it was multifamily and it was multifamily. And I realized that I had to figure out, okay, how am I going to how am I going to use my money, right? And how are we going to do these things? And I had to sell property. I had to sell single family residence here in California, which again, it was the best thing I could have done, right? I didn't know that it was going to 4 times like my the appreciation of my property was going to go up in value. When I bought it, I really bought it for cash flow. And I said, well, hey, if it appreciates over the long term, I'm cool, right? But I wasn't looking to flip. I wasn't going in to buy today to flip in the next, year. It was a long-term plan. So it really all worked for me. And it was okay for me to buy a value add property that I knew I needed to do work on it because we had about 2 years when we did our deal with the seller. We gave ourselves 2 years to fix that property, to bring it up to like really, I mean, decent, decent value so that we could get a loan. We would have never gone a loan under the current conditions, or we probably could have, but it would have been very expensive, much more expensive. So I'm just kind of going back to that as an example. But I think if you answer these questions, it's going to help you define what kind of property you're really looking for.
But when you
And
went in and looked at the property, knowing that it was one a value added property, was your plan for 2 years in order to, when you basically talk to the owner, initially approached them of whether or not they would hold the note? Was it your plan initially just to hold it for 2 years? I mean, that was the plan, or just did it develop into the 2 years?
yeah, no, that's a great question. Our plan was I was in it for the long haul. My plan, my number one goal was cash flow. I wanted, X amount of money, whatever it was, $350,000 to produce X amount of money on a monthly basis for me. But I knew I only had, when I asked the seller for a 2-year loan, I mean, remember, when you seller finance is usually interest only. So I didn't want to keep an interest only loan for very long. I just knew that I needed good 2 years. We needed to bring up the rents in, or we needed to fix to increase the rents, because the way a lender will look at multifamily, they're going to look at what the property produces of what it's actually making. So we knew we had 2 years to really fix up the property so that we can go out and get a loan. And that was the plan. And so we did, we got a loan, and we got a loan with intentions of really keeping this property for a while until, we knew what we wanted to do next. So for us, we're in the process now. We decided to sell. So I'm actually in the process of selling because I want to use that capital gain to try to get myself into maybe double the amount of doors that I have, or possibly commercial retail space property. So I'm in the plans of working that, and I'm sure I'll share some of this, my journey with you guys so that you guys can also learn from that. But again, I just figured, you know what, I have made a very good appreciation on this property, and this could be a very good time for me to to use all that, do a 1031 exchange and try to get something bigger with more doors. I don't know if that answers your question, Williams.
It does. I mean, the other question actually tied to that is that there has been questions of 1031 exchanges, and whether or not, have you heard any updates on whether or not they plan to eliminate 1031s?
Yeah. You know, I've heard of that. I don't know. I don't know where it's at really in the process, but I've heard that they do want to do away with it. And that's not one of the reasons why we're taking, I mean, now that you say it, I think that's great for me because I am trying to use that. I am trying to use the 1031 exchange, and I don't know what's going to happen. So, I mean, this might be a really good opportunity for me to roll that over because it's a big chunk of money that I can roll over and not have to pay any, capital gains on it, right?
Right. Okay.
All right. Any other questions? So, something that I think is important for everyone as you do this, and you know what, you really take inventory of yourself and your goals and your needs and what's important to you is, isolate yourself from everything, right? Turn off the TV, the radio, AirPods. You find like your happy place, unplug yourself from the world, and just write your goals and what it is that you want. I mean, it's really important that you define that. And you know what? Just write a bunch of stuff. And because most of the time, I mean, many of you know, like if you don't write it down, you don't actually see it and just never happens. So I'm just really like sharing this with you guys because I feel that when I made that clear, I mean, it was very clear that I was going multifamily. Everything that I did for that until I acquired my property was multifamily. Now, I mean, many of you know I'm a real estate broker, so I do residential, commercial property, mainly residential. And, I'm still 100% involved in that. But this was something I was doing for myself. And it was just all multifamily. And it really helped me. Find my property. And when I actually did all this stuff, aim small, miss small. I've heard that, and I'm sure you guys have heard that. The more detailed you are, the better and the more precise that you'll be in hitting the mark and obtaining that property that you want. And I am a firm believer of this. It just made the path, the direction that I was heading, it just made it that much easier for me to find that property. Like I knew I had studied, like I knew what I wanted. So when that opportunity, when I saw it and I drove by it and I immediately knew this is it. This is for me. This is the one. And I contacted, the agent, not knowing that the agent was the owner of the property. So it just worked out perfect. So just remember to clearly define what you're looking for. And you again, I have to reiterate this, you have to know what your goals are. And that includes your lifestyle, that lifestyle that you want. So you include all of that in those goals. Second thing, location. You guys have heard me talk about this like a bunch of times. Understand where you're going to buy, right? Once you've made, like I had a mentor, my mentor was buying in Texas. So it was very easy for me to just, say I'm going to Texas because he had done it. He did very well, and I was just following his steps. You know how they say, don't reinvent the wheel. If someone's already done it and you can do it, just kind of copy it and do it. And so, you know what? I was at the right time, right place, and it just all fell in order. I mean, it was just perfect. And so for me, it was like very easy. I decided I'm going to Texas. Now, you want to buy where you have a competitive advantage, especially if it's your first multifamily property. What does this mean, competitive advantage, right? So my competitive advantage was that I had someone out there that was doing it, that if I needed any kind of help, I could maybe go to him and he'd give me a hand. I'm not saying he's going to drop, what he's doing, but he could help me out if I needed some help. So you want to invest, or you're going to go buy somewhere where there is some sort of an advantage, like you aren't by yourself, right? You want to pick a location really that's kind of close to grocery, walking distance, maybe to restaurants and bars if you're like in the city, gas stations. These are things that, I'll be very honest with you guys, when we drove by, I remember looking at all this and saying to myself, wow, this property is like really close by to everything. And there's a large supermarket down the street. There are restaurants nearby, gas stations. I mean, these are just little things that you want to pay attention to. And when you buy, you also want to buy, the best locations out there during, especially like right now, this pandemic and what we're going through. They didn't really get affected. There weren't any rent decreases or delinquencies. I can share with you guys that we didn't have anyone not pay us during COVID. We thought, I remember telling my husband, I said, hey, maybe we need to be proactive and let's start sending them letters, letting them know we're going to work with them, as long as they, communicate with us and let us know. My husband's like, wait, don't say anything just yet. Let's see what happens, right? Why are we going to give them ideas and then maybe they end up not paying us, right? Because sometimes, you try to be nice and may not go that route. And I have to report that there was no need for us to do that, and everyone paid the rent. So I think that what's important is that you want to pick an area where people are going to want to stay and continue to pay rent even when there's a downturn in the market. So any questions on that or comments on that? Let me see. I see someone chat. Let's see here. So Claudia, it says in the process of defining, with your husband. Okay, good. Fantastic. Where are you, what area are you in, Claudia?
I'll just unmute because that's easier. I'm in San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, okay. Very good. Are you guys looking to buy in San Francisco or out of state, or what do you think?
We're still in the process of deciding that, the market is, I'm not sure where we're at with that yet. So we'll see what's going to be best for our long-term goal. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Now, are you a real estate agent or investor, or?
I'm not a real estate agent. I'm investing.
Okay. Perfect. Well, that's good. Okay. Perfect. Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining, and I hope you find value in this presentation.
Yes, thanks so much for having it. Yeah.
Very good. And okay, so let's close it. Carlos Otero, where are you from? Philadelphia and Delaware.
Hello. Sorry about that. I'm on like another call at the same time, trying to make sure I can network and do a lot. You see this? Let me just take this off. I am an investor in Philadelphia as well as Delaware County, Pennsylvania, which is right outside of Philadelphia. What was the question? Was there a question? Or
No, I just wanted to know where you were from. And I see that Philadelphia and Delaware County. Fantastic. Well, hey, welcome to my call, and
thank you.
Find some value here.
I love the presentation so far.
All right, great. So let's connect. Let's continue here. So the other step is you got to network. You got to make relationships in order to get deals. I know I've I've talked about this as well. And, you know, just multifamily world, you have to network and make relationships. When the deals go on like CoStar or go online, they're probably no longer a good deal. So this is very important. You want to connect to as many, I mean, now at least we've got Zoom, so we can connect to so many different multifamily or investing network groups. I mean, it's crazy, but you know what? It's much easier to do, because before we were driving to a lot of these meetup events and just different they're all over the place. So my recommendation to everyone here is, you know what, start networking, start establishing relationship with people. That's how you're going to get your first deal. And really, it's based on the relationship. People get to know you, they trust you, they see, you know, you're serious. And what's really, really important is that when you're looking at, I mean, when you're, the more relationships that you have, the more deals that you're actually going to be able to see, and better deals you'll have the opportunity to buy. So just be patient. This takes time. This isn't like, you know, you're going to find a property the next day. I'm telling you guys, it took me 5 years to buy my property. Why 5? Because I needed to prepare also financially. I needed some capital, and I knew where I was going. I was just learning and studying, and I didn't have a whole lot of connections or relationships back then. I had just a mentor, and it was enough for me to be able to kind of go out there and do my stuff. So I'm just letting you guys know to be patient. This takes time. Now, you want to network with everybody. You want to connect to, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Bigger Pockets. If you have done or been involved in any kind of multifamily, Bigger Pockets, my goodness, is, I mean, a wealth of information. Anything, they have so many videos. You can go on YouTube. They've got great presentations. They have just incredible information that you can learn from them. And I'll tell you, when I was going through my, you know, my process, I would listen to Bigger Pockets. I'd read all their stuff, and just, you know what, you just got to connect, and you have to expose yourself to all this stuff in order for you to be able to know when there is an opportunity. Go on LinkedIn. You know, there's people there as well. Real estate meetup groups, meet with brokers, wholesalers, meet with people that are just in the multifamily space and talk to them, right? Ask them questions. How did you find your property? What did you do? And, you know, here's the beauty of all this. When you decide to network and start establishing relationships with people, you want to know what your goals are, and you want to know the location, and you want to be able to tell them clearly what you're looking for, and that you're pre-approved and ready to go. So have your stuff together, be organized and ready. That way, when you're talking to people, they know you're ready. Does that make sense? And
Yes.
cool, very good, very good. And then when you can tell them exactly what you want, like you're so specific, people will go out of their way to find deals, or will connect you with other people that have those deals, because you know what, they're all talking about it. People will talk, and then, you know, I may not be interested, but then, you know, William, you asked me, and I say, hey, I just spoke to, you know, so and so over here, and they have something. Why don't I connect you guys? So I'm just saying, have that clear definition of what it is you're looking for, know it exactly, network with people, and when you connect with those people, you guys are going to be able to find that multifamily opportunity. and I'm going to end this with, saying always be looking to add value. That's what they're looking for in the multifamily space. They want people that add value. Well, let me, I'm going to stop sharing this for a second. Do you guys have any questions? Yes. Yes. Anybody? I mean, I kind of want to hear from you guys. Where are you guys at in this process? I mean, if I talk and talk and talk and talk, I feel like I don't know where you guys are at in this process, but tell me where you're at. Who's willing to just kind of share a little bit of what you guys are doing?
I'll talk. Just a
Cool,
little bit,
thank you.
all right. So I own a couple of units, and I'm right now, since the market's kind of a little ugly right now, I've been looking for deals on Facebook, doing some Facebook marketing. That's working out. And what else is going on right now?
Are you doing multifamily or is it?
Yes, yeah. So I'm just like you. I'll only do cash flow deals. I won't do anything else and I don't. I don't want to do that. I mean, I know some people do, but it's just not for me. I'm I'm a steady guy. I like steady.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I just got finished looking at this one property, to my zip in Delaware County, and it's overpriced, but you know, I guess they were hoping somebody would move into it, but nobody obviously is, because at some point the numbers don't, then the rents have to match up. This is like this is a duplex though. This is a duplex. So
Okay. Okay.
right. So, it's not like a, big multi, but the numbers still have to match up. So either way, it
course.
doesn't really matter if the rents can't cover, the mortgage payment. So what they hope is somebody will just move in, and then that's how they'll get max value. But if the person can't move in, you can't do anything. And
Right.
one of the stipulations with the guy, which I thought was kind of comical, is that you got to keep the guy there for a whole year, one of the tenants.
Oh, so they're selling it with the tenant?
Yeah, they're selling it with the tenant, which is just fine, right? It's not a big deal, but they're like, oh, well, you can't raise the rent for a whole year. I'm like, well, how you want somebody to overpay and can't pay and you can't raise the rent? Oh my gosh. It's like,
But
what are you?
I'll tell you, I see that I'm here in California and I see that happening all the time, every day, and it's crazy.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
when is this gonna end? Overbids by minimum 30,000 all the way to 70 or even $100,000. It's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I've
And
been yeah. I was gonna say, I've been making some seller finance offers, because I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can offer 50,000 more that way, right? How about that? And they
huh.
just, no, I want cash. I'm like, oh my God, give me a break. You can't have it all. I mean, gosh, I
Well,
don't
you know
know.
what? People are, real estate agents are look, I don't do that because I think I'm like affecting my own sale, right? But
Yeah.
I'm fair. I tell my clients, look, if I can get, I will go out there and get you the most, right? Like, don't be greedy, because when you get to that point, it's like, then you're going to get stuck and you're not going to get anything.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree. It's happening. I'm interested in, you're saying you're doing ads on Facebook, are these duplex or single families or multifamily? How are you going about it?
So right now I'm not targeting a specific thing right now. So what I'm doing is I'm getting as many fillers as I can right now. And my strategy for single families is I just buy them, and then I'll basically lease option them or something like that. And then for the multifamilies, I'll keep. So that
Nice.
that way you just kind of just get the cash flow, because I'm like, okay, this is like the best thing for cash flow. I don't really want to, do anything else for the most part. So
Right.
but yeah, so whatever will come in, I'll basically vet it and determine what's going to happen there.
Very
So
nice. Well, that's great. What's the price per door out in your area approximately? What's an average price?
250 if it's rented. You
50?
talking about, what, cash flow you talking about, or what are you talking
No,
about?
no, multifamily, like like the price per door on multifamily.
Oh, I don't do it that way.
How do you do it?
I do it based on cash flow. So 250 cash flow per door. whatever the numbers are that can get me that, I'll do it.
250,000?
Oh, see, you're talking about big units. No, I'm talking about duplexes.
Yeah, I'm talking about like per door. So you're like, let's say a duplex. What does a duplex cost? What's the price of
I mean, so sometimes they'll be like 150.
Okay.
Sometimes they're like, 200.
So you're at
like-
about 75,000 a door.
Yeah, but I don't really do it that way, but yes.
Right. Not on, yes, on a duplex, anywhere from 1 to 4, you really can't do it that way.
Right.
But on multifamily, you do get anywhere from 70. I want to say like Texas right now, minimum, you're looking at about 80,000 a door. We're talking a C-class neighborhood.
Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not.
That's not that bad. That's pretty good. I might
But
invest
I
in
mean,
Texas.
I didn't buy it at that price. So it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Texas is a great, Texas is good. So Dallas, Houston's booming, Austin's booming. There's a lot of areas. Arizona, again, I think it really goes back to your goals, right? What are you
Mhm.
looking to do? Are you in this for the long haul? Are you looking for cash flow? What are you looking for? And I think that once you really have that clear definition, it's going to make it a lot easier to figure out where you're going to invest.
Very well said.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Any other questions or anyone want to share anything that you're currently going through that, maybe others here on this call can help out?
Can I ask Carlos a quick question? Are you confined to a certain area?
I am looking to expand into new areas because this area is a little pricey. I want to get some of that cheap Texas money, some of those cheap Texas cash flow. No, but I am open. I'm sorry. My jokes are so bad. I'm sorry. Yes, I am open to other areas as long as, I got to get my system set up, obviously, right? So I never did out of state investing yet. So, I would have to get a coach and everything else. So if
Well, if the numbers make sense, then it's a no-brainer.
yes,
You can do it.
absolutely,
You'll find
100%.
the people and you'll find the help, and it gets done. I mean, when we bought, we didn't have anything. We just knew the numbers. It made sense. There was some value add opportunity there. And I had my experience of, flipping and doing all of that. Like, when you know how to do this stuff, I mean, you really don't need a whole lot of, you don't need a whole lot of like coaching. You just kind of do your numbers, and if it makes sense, it makes sense, and you'll find people. Now, my husband's a general contractor, so he has that construction background, and if they quoted us, they give us a quote on something, he knows if it's all within reason, right? If they were to give that to me, I'd have an idea, but I really wouldn't know. So I think that's where I have a nice combination where he knows and he can handle that part of it, and we're not going to get, like, they're not going to give us an inflated price or estimate. And when you know that, then you can control some of those costs. But I'm sorry, William, I think I interrupted. What was your question?
No, he had answered. No, it wasn't an interruption.
Okay.
Did you get my information in the chat?
Yes.
Feel free to send over anything, man. Everything's welcome. So thank you for thinking about me.
Yeah, no,
Annabelle, you heard what he said, so it'll be how he sent it.
the what?
You know what he said. So you're my witness. I will be sending.
Oh.
All right. Carlos, he's going to be sending you stuff.
Oh, I love it. All you can eat buffet of deals. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, listen, I do this call every single Wednesday, 2 p.m. Pacific time. Please, join me. I'm trying to grow this call, and really, I'm just out there sharing my story, trying to help others, and honestly connecting with other people as well. I mean, you just never know, Carlos. Maybe we can work on something together. William, that I know you're religiously here, and I love it, and I thank you so much. And again, this is a really safe space. Come on this call, share. I share my story. I'm sharing information that I know, but feel free to help out. I mean, if there's something that you think will help others on this call, feel free. This is a very safe space. No one's going to judge. And I think that's really my goal in kind of forming this and growing this call. So I thank you guys very much for joining me. I'll see you next Wednesday. And if you have maybe if you have properties or anything, William, share them next week. You have stuff. All right.
Okay. And my partner's on actually Ember, so she's on this Sonata. So she's just quiet.
Oh, well, hi, Sonata. Welcome to the call.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm just returning back from work and I had to join.
No worries. No worries. I'm here every Wednesday, so 2 p.m. Pacific time. I think that's what, 4 or 5 Eastern?
5.
5. Okay, perfect. So 5 o'clock your time. Stop by, join in, and let's connect. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful evening, and see you guys.
Take care.
So
Thank
much.
you.
All right. You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye, Claudia. Thank you.
Bye.